There seriously seems to be no shortage of great JRPGs that have incredible stories, great characters, fun turn-based combat, and yet easy in-depth systems that are kind for the newcomer and enjoyable for the master gamer. Trails from Zero is no different. Even though the quality on the Switch is questionable compared to other consoles, it still just feels like it should be played on a handheld console. Go figure. The story of Trails from Zero starts off by introducing you to the main character Lloyd as he returns to his home city Crossbell to become a police officer, even though there is serious prejudice against the police, and for good reason. He is recruited into a unit called the Special Support Section and thrust into a team full of strangers. You have Randy Orlando, the slightly older womanizer with a halberd, Ally McDowell, the proper markswoman with great precision, and Tio Plato, the incredibly young tech genius. They are all put together and before long are put to action. There is, however, one problem. It turns out that the unit is as much a publicity stunt as it is a unit to make real change. As it turns out, the people trust the Bracer Guild more than they trust the police as they actually take action. Suddenly, they have to come to terms that being in this unit is not only going to be challenging, but is going to ruffle some political feathers. Just what we all love. Politics. The way Trails from Zero operates is almost exactly like every other JRPG, meaning there are moments in between combat where all you're doing is running around like a lunatic trying to find every conversation you need to discover, not only for the main story elements, but also character development. The story is interesting and doesn't dry out, and you get little nuggets of each character's past given to you, like learning how Lloyd wanted to become a detective to follow his brother's footsteps. The combat is also very reminiscent of a turn-based JRPG, giving you main attacks, area of effect attacks, and craft moves, which are your elemental powers. Although learning a new combat system can be daunting, Trails of Zero is relatively easy to learn. However, it has some more depth to it if you really want to delve deep into becoming an absolute boss. The world of Trails from Zero is intriguing. By that, I mean there is a lot to learn and know about different cities and cultures. However, it is very easy to pick up as you move along the story. You start to get a feel for the world as a whole, not to mention it doesn't actually look that bad, even though the characters may look like they're floating half the time. The buildings and surrounding areas generally have a nice level of anime-like aspects and details to them. Pair this with a decent foot-thumping soundtrack, and you have the making of a very good JRPG. Trails from Zero hits the note on every level of what makes a very good JRPG. Story is interesting, combat is intriguing, and characters have great depth to them. There is a sense of wanting to continue to know more. There may be a couple moments where it tails off or the combat becomes repetitive trying to clear a dungeon, but mostly this can be overlooked with there being so much more that will draw you in. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with our review? And if you haven't already, head on over to our website, thebetanetwork.net, for more gaming news and reviews.